So last week there were reports of 3,000 job cuts at Qantas. Today it looks like there may be as many as 5,000. I'm joined by Durie from The Australian. John, it gets worse and worse, doesn't it, at Qantas?
It does get worse, and particularly the campaign they're running is, I find, extraordinary. This is megaphone diplomacy at its worst, and the obvious intent of this is to get some sort of government assistance, but each time we get one of these headlines comes out, which are deliberately encouraged by Qantas, it just damages the Qantas brand, or risks damaging the Qantas brand, and I think it's ultimately self-destructive.
So this is much more about managing the government's expectations than managing the expectations of workers and trying to make it sound bad, but when we get to Thursday, their results, it doesn't look as bad as that.
Well, I think so. Like on Friday afternoon, last Friday afternoon, they put out a press statement denying the rumours of job cuts, which was just inflamed, obviously designed to inflame more talk. But we had Qantas PR operatives running around Melbourne on Friday briefing people, and then they put out a statement in the afternoon denying rumours of job cuts. It's really just so obvious, so blatantly obvious, that it just makes you scratch your head in wonder. Yeah.
So what has been the government response so far to Qantas and this PR campaign it's running through the press?
Well, Joe Hockey, who of course is quite good friends with some of the people at Qantas, he's the one been leading the charge, and he's seen to be the most friendly to Qantas. He's said that, okay, we're not going to give assistance to General Motors, Toyota, but we may give some assistance to Qantas. So he's really showing his colours here. Warren Truss has been a little bit more supportive as the Transport Minister, but so a little less supportive, and Tony Abbott he's falling in behind Joe Hockey. So the government seems supportive, and I think every likelihood is that sometime in the next month or two, Qantas will get this specific debt backing they want.
Now, how bad do you expect their results to be on Thursday?
Very bad. Yeah, I mean, clearly it's going to be the worst loss in Qantas's history. That it's going to be over $300 million. It's the first time they've posted a loss of that magnitude. There will obviously be massive layoffs. We've already reported there's going to be airport sale and leasebacks in Brisbane and potentially Melbourne. There's going to be route changes and a whole lot of things like that, and it's going to be a bloodbath.
But the fact is that Qantas just cannot keep competing and operating the way it's operating, can they?
Well, Qantas can't continue. Yeah, clearly Qantas needs to do something about its cost base. But then you've got to ask the question, what's Qantas doing? It's complaining about its cost base. At the same time, it's spending $300 million trying to take on Singapore Airlines and so forth in Asia. It had a share buyback not so long ago. I mean, maybe Qantas would be good if it stood up on its own 2 feet and had an equity raising just like its competitors Virgin did.
One of the things that is increasingly happening now in the press and in the market is calls for Alan Joyce to go. Do you think that maybe he's had his run? I think the board will be backing Alan Joyce, and I mean clearly this is quite a campaign. My only problem with that, I think Alan Joyce is making the decisions that need to be made at Qantas. There's no argument on that score. My only complaint is just the way they go about doing it. Other companies in Australia have sacked a lot more people than Qantas have. Qantas make a big noise about it. They announced not so long ago we're going to sack 1,000 people. You could count on one hand how many of those people have actually gone. It's megaphone diplomacy, which I think is a really high-risk strategy. John Durie, thanks very much.